guys, and welcome to a new video on Sonal's life. Now, as you can tell from the title of this video, I am back with my Wrestle Kingdom 16 review. So New Japan has basically just had the biggest event of the year in Wrestle Kingdom, and as always, I am here to talk about everything that happened over those 2 days. There were some extreme highs, some lows, some surprises, and yeah, I'm going to take you through the 2 days, all of the matches, the results, the MVPs, and we'll just have a nice time because you know what, overall it was a very good set of shows. So let's get going. So we start off with January the 4th. Now I'm not going to be the only one who said that. It was a bit of an iffy card. I enjoyed most of it, but I know a lot of people were very much down on this day. We started off the show, so we had the kickoff show and that had the Rambo for the King of Pro Wrestling trophy. Honestly, that was amazing. There were 19 men all coming in, trying to vie for 4 spots to become the provisional 2022 King of Pro Wrestling champion. I mean, they had everyone. We had your usual New Japan guys, so Doki, Suzuki, Nagata, Tenzan, Kojima. Then we had obviously junior heavyweights, so Master Wato, we had the Young Lions. So we had those guys, but then we had some huge surprises. We had Sema. So, you know, if anyone knows Strong Heart, so they do it in, like, we've seen them in AEW, DDT. We had Fujinami. Like, seriously, if you can't get any better than seeing the guys like Suzuki and Doki beat the hell out of everyone, these surprises were amazing. It was a great match, had, like, some very funny spots, Suzuki just beating the hell out of Young Lions. And in the end, we had the final 4, which went on to the next day, and that was Shima, Minoru Suzuki, Chase Owens, and obviously the 2020 and 2021 champion Toru Yano. For me personally, an amazing start to the show, and I thought it was great. We then got onto the main card. So we started with the big and very conflicting match between Sho and Yo. Personally, it wasn't that long, not as good as their Best of Super Junior bout, but I think it did what it needed to like hype the crowd up. Yo won in the end. There was a lot of aggression going forward, and yeah, I just thought it was a nice start. I mean, a lot of people didn't like it, but that's just, you know what, it's opinion, and I think it depends on how you're looking at it. For many, this was like a big grudge match. For others, it was just a setup for the Never 6-man match. It's not going to be the end of their story, so I think you can expect a lot more from them. We then had some 6-man tag matches. Again, people thought they were a bit more like road shows, but very nicely built up to the next night. So we had oddly enough, a disqualification with the members of Hontai versus the members of Bullet Club, sort of focusing mainly on that IWGP United States Championship match between Kenta and Tanahashi. People weren't feeling it, but I think it's perfect because we knew the match was no DQ, but no one expected Tanahashi to bring anything but his golden self, and the fact that he like snapped, started whacking Kenta with a kendo stick to get him disqualified, it was a nice build up. Similarly with the LIJ versus Empire match, Ospreay pinned Bushi, nothing really exciting, but nice build up. I personally didn't mind these matches. I think it comes from the idea of having 2 big shows with not that many titles and wrestlers. You're going to have some filler matches, and these were a nice way to get the crowd excited for the matches that were coming up. We then had that match, one of the matches that literally everyone was looking forward to, and it was the return match of Katsuyori Shibata. Now going into it, we'd been told it was a catch wrestling match. I don't know, I mean, it's from Wigan, which is near where I'm from, but I had no idea. And everyone was anticipating who this opponent was going to be. They thought, is it going to be someone from another company? Is it going to be one of the veterans? Literally nobody knew. Much to my surprise and my excitement, it was none other than our young lion, who has obviously been in America on his excursion, Ren Narita. Of course, some people at first were a bit like, what? But I was so happy to see the majority of people were so excited, because if you think about it, I mean, not just that they look exactly the same in the black trunks and the hair, but Shibata has been training Ren Narita in America, and it's sort of like a full circle. So basically, Shibata came out, said, nope, it's not a catch wrestling match, it is now professional wrestling rules, and they had an amazing match. Now, of course, Shibata won, but it was really nice, not just for fans to, of course, see Shibata back in the ring for the first time in, like, is it 1,500 days or something? But also to see where the future of New Japan is going to go, and it is in very safe hands with Ren Narita. We then had a break, and I'm going to skim over the next match. If you know what the next match is, you'll understand why. Basically, it was for the never open weight title. It was Evil versus Tomohiro Ishii, and Ishii lost. We're just gonna ignore that. Not a great match. We're gonna talk about this sort of shenanigans with Bullet Club later on. No. But then we had the three main matches. Now, there'd been a lot of up and down thoughts up until this point. Many people not thinking it seemed like a Wrestle Kingdom show. These three matches completely sorted that out. We started with the title match for the IWGP Tag titles for the heavyweight ones between the champions Dangerous Tekkers and the World Tag League winners Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. Again, similarly to like Show and Yo in terms of it's not their longest match they've had, but it was phenomenal. Like, it has showcased why, despite like the lag a few years ago, the IWGP Tag Team division is in really safe hands with these guys. There was no like cheating, there was strength, there was submissions, there was heart. It's like the same three words I use for these teams. They have this amazing chemistry. So you've got guys like Goto matching up with his opposite in Zack, Yoshihashi and Taichi. All four of them work perfectly together. You know, going into this, I wanted Dangerous Tekkers to win. But I also have like the biggest soft spot for the Chaos Duo. So when they finally got the win, I was over the moon. And I think the biggest thing was after the match, Taichi, like, I think he basically went and hugged Yoshihashi and Goto. Same with Zack. It was almost like after the wars they've had, both teams focusing on trying to elevate this tag division, they had this mutual respect. I mean, I don't know whether this is Suzuki-gun turning to baby faces. I hope not, because they're always good as heels. But it was a really nice match. And honestly, I really hope that Yoshihashi and Goto keep these titles, because Yoshihashi is now like my spirit animal. He proves that even if you work hard and things don't work out, if you carry on persisting, you'll get results in the end. The next two matches, obviously, possible match of the year candidates. We started with the IWGP Junior Championship match between champion El Desperado and Hiromu. I feel like I keep saying this, and it's nothing to like disregard what they did at Wrestle Kingdom. This was a much shorter match than the other bouts they've had in the Best of Super Junior final, the Best of Super Junior, like any other match they've had. However, I think it perfectly suited the narrative of the match. Like, there was no desire to win points, to win match of the year candidates. They just wanted to prove who was the better wrestler on the biggest stage possible. And that sort of dictated the pace. It was very quick, very dangerous. So we all know that Desperado is a very mat-based wrestler. He was flying, he was doing frog splashes. Obviously, as expected, Hiromu was also being like crazy as hell, throwing caution to the wind. It was another amazing match that combined storytelling and phenomenal wrestling. I was like very shocked because, you know, my predictions, I said I wanted El Desperado to win, but I thought Hiromu was going to win just because of like New Japan love Hiromu at Wrestle Kingdom. No! After 4 Pinche Locos, not because he needed them, but because he wanted to show off, El Desperado actually got the win. And after like all of this like umming and ahhing about whether Desperado deserves his place at the top of the junior division, this has cemented it. And also, I think it's a notch on Desperado's thing that yes, he can beat Hiromu, because it has been a very long time since that's happened. And once again, he did it clean. We then finished night one with probably one of the best matches that's gonna happen this year. Like, I know it's only like a few days into 2022, but it was the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match between champion Shingo Takagi and challenger and G1 winner Kazuchika Okada. I mean, I don't even really know what to say about this match. It was phenomenal. If you have not watched it yet, make sure you go and do it. Or just rewatch it, because I probably will. From like the very second that they came out, these two meant business. They are two of the best in the world, and they were willing to like put their bodies on the line to prove this. It was one of those matches where, considering they're both very athletic but also very strong, it changed the dynamic throughout. So there'd be moments where they'd just be like throwing forearms, then they'd be flying across the ring. There was one point where Shingo was outside like near the ring announcer's desk, and Okada ran and sprung off the barricades onto Shingo. Like, are they junior heavyweights or what? There was so much like heart throughout. There was like little jeers as well. So at one point, Shingo did the Rainmaker pose. Okada, that really set Okada off. Like, he snapped. And we saw like this real aggression that we haven't seen in a long time. Or especially since Okada was champion last, which seems like forever. Now in the end, the match went around 35 minutes, so not as long as Jay White and Kota Ibushi's last year. And Okada got the win with the Rainmaker. Now, I was upset because obviously I would have loved Shingo to retain, but I think it's the perfect story, especially leading into the next night. And New Japan with Okada as champion is always perfect. So yeah, it was an amazing end to like what was a very up and down card for many people. Luckily, however, night 2 was phenomenal from the word go. We started obviously with these dark matches, which weren't really dark matches. There was really nice interaction between the wrestlers who were on the main card. Master Wato pinned Desperado, so obviously the new storyline for the junior heavyweight title. And then straight after, we got back into junior heavyweight wrestling with the triple threat for the IWGP junior tag titles. Amazing match. Like, I didn't know what to expect going in. We knew that there was obviously 3 teams, so the champions, Tiger Mask and Robbie Eagles, Ishimori and El Fantasmo, and Rocky Romero, welcome back Rocky, and Taguchi. And there was also the story of the boot. Initially, there was loads of stuff, great high-flying action from all the guys, but the main part of this was at one point when El Fantasma was on the mat and the other 4 guys teamed up on him, they finally found out what was in the shoe. It was like a metal rock, which obviously is enough to hurt people. This got El Fantasma and Ishimori disqualified from the match, and then in the end, the Flying Tiger, so the champions, retained. Not what I expected, but a very nice result to see Tiger Mask not just being the fall guy for this match. I'm gonna have to read this because obviously you guys know I'm not as aware of Stardom, but we had a phenomenal special match between, let me say, so it was Starlight Kid and Mayu Iwatani versus Saya Kamitani and Tam Nakano. So for someone like me who has never watched a Stardom match, holy god, this was amazing. These 4 women put everything on the line to showcase just how good their promotion is. I know people are saying, oh, like this is the first time a women's match been televised in New Japan on a New Japan show. But I don't think that these women were there fighting as if they were on a New Japan show. This was their stage. This might have been a huge audience, a huge platform, but they were wrestling pretty much probably the same as you see on a Stardom show. And honestly, it was phenomenal. It was high flying strikes, like I've seen stuff that I had my eyes open so wide I didn't want to blink. It's a phenomenal match. I am going to be watching Stardom now if I can, and you should too because it was amazing. We then had the chaoticness for the King of Pro Wrestling Championship, so Shima, Minoru Suzuki, Chase Owens and Toru Yano. Another really good match. A lot of people were very iffy about this. They were like, oh, it's King of Pro Wrestling. Shouldn't it have been the opener? No, it was amazing. We had hilarious antics from Yano, Chase Owens writing himself a death wish going up against Suzuki, Shima's high flying, obviously Suzuki being murder dad. In the end, Suzuki has now become the first 2022 King of Pro Wrestling in provisional champion, and I'm really excited to see what is going to happen with this title. We saw Yano handcuff Suzuki at the end, so I assume he's going to be trying to get his baby back. But I can imagine a lot more like submission-based and quite hardcore matches for this division. So that's very exciting. And you know what? I always love it when Suzuki gets a platform, even if it is just the King of Pro Wrestling. Then had the Never 6-man title match. I'm not going to talk about it. It was upsetting. Even with Ishii out there, Dick Togo, Bullet Club, House of Torture managed to make a very good card shit. I'm literally sick of House of Torture. You know how much I love Show and have loved Show for so long. For me, this feels like a demotion. I refuse now. I'm not going to watch any more matches with Evil and Yujiro and Dick Togo in it. That's all I'm going to say about that. We then had the guys from Noah come out and have a standoff with some of the LIJ guys ahead of their show. Very, very excited. Not just the fact that Keiji Muto was there taking a selfie like an old dad. It was great, and Kaito Kiyomiya being handsome as hell. But it was a nice way to sort of finish that section of the show and lead up to like some of the probably match of the year candidates. Like, they were phenomenal coming up. We had the special single matches between the members of LIJ and the Empire. So we had Sonata versus Great Okan and Jeff Cobb versus Tetsuya Naito. 2 amazing matches. Surprising because LIJ won both. phenomenal bouts themselves. So the one between Sanada and O'Khan, as expected, very technically sound, but also I think O'Khan has proved he could easily be in the junior heavyweight division as he flew across the ring, flew outside the ring, like phenomenal. Jeff Cobb is a big dominant man. Obviously not enough for the veteran who is Tetsuya Naito, but still another amazing match. And honestly, I think the members of Empire, they might have lost, but they did not. They were not shown in a bad light. They didn't look any worse from it. If anything, they looked stronger because they stood against two of the most loved wrestlers in New Japan history. But if those matches were great, bar the Never Openweight Championship, the two main events were phenomenal. So we started with the no DQ match between Kenta and Hiroshi Tanahashi, and all I can say is, holy shitter Tony! Like, I didn't know that Tanahashi would, like, be capable of putting this aggression and grit into a no DQ match. But by God, I was hidden behind a cushion for most of it. If you watched it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. These two threw everything at this match. They put their bodies on the line. There were bins, chairs, guitars. In particular, there were tables and ladders. Like, obviously we had a few small table spots, so high fly flows into a table. But at one point, Kenta brought a ladder that must have been like 5 times my height, attempted to hit Tanahashi on the table, didn't work. So then Tanahashi did like a high fly flow into Kenta, who like was already bloodied anyway, which led to the pinfall. Yeah, it's Hiroshi Tanahashi won a no DQ match. Normally I hate these kind of matches. I think it's chaotic. I don't feel there's a need for them. But this one was phenomenal. I have literally nothing to complain about. Two guys showcased just how much passion and investment they have, that they were willing to put their bodies on the line. And there was also a story in it. There was a story that Kenta thought, this is going to be easy. This is my real house. But he managed to bring something out of Tanahashi that I hope we will carry on seeing. And that is a willingness to break the rules and to have this aggression that goes against the ace of the universe. And like, I mean, if that wasn't enough, it could have easily been a main event match, by the way. It was only surpassed by the main event, which was Okada versus Will Ospreay for the heavyweight title. Personally, I preferred Shingo versus Okada, but maybe that's personal choice because I love Shingo and Okada equally, but that is not to tear away from this match. It was amazing. The thing about Ospreay, he is an amazing heel. But unlike the members of Bullet Club, he does everything clean. He is still the same athlete that we saw in the junior division, just added weight, a bit of added cockiness, but doesn't take away from the quality of his matches. We even had members of the Empire on the side, but never did they even step foot in that ring. Whereas, you know, Dick Togo loves to step in it as if he's in the bloody match. But, you know, away from Bullet Club, it was a great bout. Like, Okada and Ospreay are now probably two of the most diverse wrestlers in the business. They have the speed and the agility, so seen with the drop kicks, the Spanish flies, the monkey flip wall kick, is that what it's called? But also now that Ospreay's added bulk, he has this strength, this power and determination. This match, so where Shingo and Okada was a bit more like light and shade, this was fast paced from the very beginning. And like, if you blinked, you would miss something. And I had like a thought. I thought, well, if the other Empire members had lost, wouldn't Ospreay win this? No, in the end, after another crazy ending sequence, which can only be rivaled by the Shingo and Okada match, Okada hit the Rainmaker for the win. And it was the right decision. We are now in the period of the Rainmaker. And I think in this type of uncertainty, I've always said this, Okada is the perfect person to be at the top of the company. Once again, I've babbled on for maybe about 20 minutes. Hopefully you guys are still watching. But yeah, it was a phenomenal 2 days. Okay, it might not have been up to the standard of other Wrestle Kingdoms. We didn't have the big stars, but there was a match for everyone. Going forward, we've already got stuff set. Master Wato will be challenging for the IWGP Junior titles. Evil and Yujiro are challenging for the heavyweight tag titles. Naito came out and challenged Okada for the anniversary show for the IWGP World Championship. And I just think the future is going to be bright. Hopefully as the pandemic and restrictions start to ease, we can see more names coming in. So for guys from New Japan Strong, from England. But I think considering everything, I really enjoyed it. Like, the main events were second to none and some of the best matches I've ever seen. And yeah, with the Noah show coming up as well, there is even more to be excited about to finish this Wrestle Kingdom week. So yeah, that is everything that happened. And as always, I want to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. Let me know on social media at wrestling_chat. What were your highlights of the Wrestle Kingdom event? Who were the people that stood out? And was there anything that didn't really float your boat? And if you say anything but the idea of Evil being double champion, I don't believe you. Make sure to like and share this video with all of your friends and hit that subscribe button, because in the coming months, I'm going to be doing a lot more original content that you guys have recommended to me in the past. So yeah, I will see you guys soon. Bye!